Yo, 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 what is up, guys? We are live. And today I'm going to share with you a story. This is something that happened. Yo, yo, what is up, guys? 15 years ago. This is something that happened before I got into the game. I was a broke engineer living in California and I was dating a girl. So, this is a story about how I got heartbroken and it led through a chain of events that led to where I am now. Okay. So, for those of you that are new to my channel, you might have think that I just started my YouTube channel, but no, I was making content back in 2011. All right. And this is one of the first videos that I ever posted. And it was at one of the lowest points of my life. And I recorded it just in case I made it 10 years later, that I could share this story with you guys. And I thought, how cool would it be to document my journey? I was probably the only Asian guy that documented my journey as a guy who started with nothing, didn't have game, was heartbroken, was cheated on too. Well, at the time, hopefully eventually becoming a person that, lives up to his potential and dreams here. So quick backstory. When I was in college, I had a bicycle, I had no car, I was staying in my dorms. I met this girl on Yahoo Chat, and it was a Vietnamese guy and it was a black guy, so pretty interesting. Anyway, I'll get into it. So, met this girl on Yahoo Chat because I had no game back in the day. And this was the age of AOL Instant Messenger. This is before Facebook. This is before Instagram. Met her on Yahoo Chat, right? God, so cringe. She had this account named Naughty China Doll, whatever. I don't know. It was bots, Indian dudes. And then I meet this girl. She was gonna go to UC Berkeley to study engineering. And to be honest, I got really lucky, and I think a lot of guys, it happens too, where they just get lucky and they meet a girl and that's it. They date that girl for a long time, and then if things don't work out, they stay single for a very long time. But long story short, she stayed in California, NorCal, and I stayed in SoCal, right? So I was in college in Seattle, got my engineering degree, moved to California, and it was long distance for 7 years. Okay, so that's a long time, and eventually I wasn't the perfect boyfriend. I played too much StarCraft, played too much video games, wasn't paying attention to her needs. On top of that, it was long distance. And on top of that, like I'd see her once every 4 months. So basically she cheated on me. One with a 5'2", dude. One with a 5'2" Vietnamese guy, which I'm like, wow, this is fucked, right? You look at all this black pill stuff. Here I am, 6 feet tall. She sleeps with a 5'2" Vietnamese dude in Berkeley, right? And back in the day, I was such a fucking simp, and I forgave her, right? And that just goes to show, like, height isn't everything. And obviously, what might be more important than height is proximity, right? You got to understand, I might be a better catch objectively, but she's with this other dude and they're studying physics in college. So, of course, when, it's the same thing why, like, people cheat with their fitness trainers. It's probably why Gisele Bündchen cheated with that Brazilian fitness trainer. And Tom Brady is out there winning Super Bowls, even though objectively Tom Brady has a much higher SMV than a Brazilian trainer, right? One guy has like $500 million, the most famous dude on the planet, the GOAT of football. So she cheats on me back in college. I forgave her. We continued to date many, many years, right? She was in NorCal. I was in SoCal. I was a biomedical engineer for a medical company. She was also a biomedical engineer for a tech company. So we actually had very similar career paths. Again, played too much video games. If there's one thing that I wish I didn't do as much in my early 20s and mid 20s, I wish I had not played video games and worked on more skills. I wish I invested more, and I wish I had been more productive in my 20s. To be honest, if I had hustled more the first 5 years in my 20s, my net worth right now would probably be triple where it's at. I mean, I'm still doing pretty good, but I'm just saying, if I like looking back at fucking, you know, this was 2009, 2010, right? So this is the era where we had that huge collapse in 2008. If I was just not a fucking idiot and I just studied investing and I just did a little bit more, oh my God, dude, I was, you know, I have right now, I put like 300, I have 300,000 in AMD stocks, right? Made 150K on AMD in the last year or so. But I was looking at how much AMD stocks were back in 2015. It was like $1, you know? Imagine if I had just put like $10,000 in AMD stocks in 2015, I would have probably like $2 million in AMD right now. Anyways, without going off a tangent into investing, I think some of the black, I don't know. She's like a hoodie. Well, she's Southeast Asian. She's like Hmong Mien. So, you know how Southeast Asian girls, right? She's from like Merced, Central California. They're into black dudes. So maybe it was a black guy. I don't fucking know. But I go visit her and I see a fucking used condom. I don't know how traumatic that is. If you ever go visit a girl and you see like a used condom in the bathroom, like that is the most traumatic, especially when you're like you're just like a fucking noob and you see like your girl and there's a used condom in her bathroom. It is the most fucked up shit you can ever see. But yeah, so I think at that point it was point of no return. And so 2010, I was like, I think I need to fix this shit. I think I need to learn some game. So I went to all the dating sites. I went to all the meetup groups in Southern California. I put myself out there. I created a YouTube channel. And this video, we're going to watch the first YouTube video I've ever made. And I want to see, like what it was like going through my head back then. Do I still agree with everything that I said? Was I happy with how things turned out 15 years later? So we're going to review that. Let me pull open and let me know how you guys, if you guys can hear the audio real quick. Let me see here. So let me see if I have some pictures. That was us. Yeah. Back in the day, my ex. I kind of have to thank her now. Probably the best thing that's ever fucking happened to me. All right. This is me at 27. Even though I look like I'm probably 18 in this video, but I'm almost 30 in this video. It is fucking crazy how fast time flies by. You are Eskimo Bros with Tyrone. Oh, dude, I'm sure I'm Eskimo Bros with a lot of people on this planet. A lot. Probably some of my students too. That was pretty fun.
Hey,
can you guys hear this? Let me know.
Make videos on this account to document my adventures of pickup.
Back then I had nothing, right? So I didn't own any properties. I still have my engineering books over here in the background. Let's see here. Still have my bicycle from college, just living in one room. I have all my engineering books in the background. Man, what a journey. Things were so much simpler back in the day, huh? Look at all my clothes in the background, and I have a fucking tub of protein.
Be the first video. I'm just going to share a little bit about where I'm from, what my past experiences were, what am I doing right now, and I kind of wanted to make this like this inspirational vlog, but you know, I've been waiting for this webcam, and it took 2 weeks for me to get it. But between these 2 weeks, I made a lot of success out. I really wanted this to be from like a Cho to like level 9,000 video, but apparently I don't feel that anymore because last week was pretty crazy. Anyways, I got this video, or I got this camera today, so this is gonna be my first video. I'm not really gonna edit this because there's just not a lot of people that watch pickup related stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna spend a ridiculous amount of time editing these videos. You think about Tyler Durden, what my current skill set is, and then just every week I'm gonna have either field reports or video recordings, audio recordings, or just in-field footage, and then just whatever my.
So first YouTube video, obviously I wasn't the most animated. You could tell that game definitely molded my conversation abilities. Camera was shit, right? It was very unscripted, but I do really appreciate how raw this video was.
Questions are of that week, so that's kind of the format, and I guess let's get started. I made this account. It's called Squatting Casanova. Pretty much grew up with my grandparents till I was 5. My parents came to the U.S. My dad was a grad student here, and so from 0 to 5, I pretty much was raised by my grandparents. And you know how grandparents are, right? They give you everything. They don't really punish you. So, you know, by the time I was age 5, I was actually pretty alpha. Like, I used to take kids' candy, and like nobody messed with me because my grandpa apparently was like, back then in communist China, he was like, you know, like a leader or something. So, so I was pretty, you know, aggressive and dominant. I had a carefree attitude. You know, it's an Asian culture where pretty much that what the guy says goes, right? What the man says is the way. So my mom never really, they didn't really have like a physical relationship. You never see them like hug or just show affection. I guess just growing up, I never had a sister, or I have a sister now, but pretty much growing up, I didn't really have like good female.
Okay, so this is all just like really background stuff.
They were better than me. Like, I despise them for that. And if they were not as fortunate or they're worse than me, like, I looked down upon them. So it was really hard for me to develop good connections with people. Like, I'd make friends, but I lose them over time, or I say something stupid, or just like inner game things.
Yeah, so fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna watch a full hour of this, but basically, I started going out at the beginning of 2011. When I made this video, I was already 3 months into going out pretty consistently. And to be honest, at this point, I feel like I was gonna make it. I wish I had recorded even earlier than this, but yeah, I just, for 5 years between 23 and almost 28, I did nothing, right? And then all of a sudden, with enough momentum, everything changed. Okay, you peaked at 5. I don't know what that means. This is what I have to say, right? Like, pickup, you know you're gonna make it if you go hard for 3 months. There's usually not a whole lot of middle ground. What I would say is, if you're doing everything right, the first couple weeks, the first couple months, every single week that you go out is going to be multiple breakthroughs. Every weekend that you go out, your conversation is going to be longer and longer. I think 2011 was probably one of the most interesting aspects of my life.
So I guess that's kind of my background. You know, when I was in high school, I did International Baccalaureate, which is kind of like AP. You know, I did all my.
Okay, so this first part is just talking about my childhood.
Distance. It was, you know, She ended up being the girl I lost my virginity to, and this was like.
Okay, I'm still talking about my ex at this point. Let's skip to the next. Skip to the next part.
Okay, so where I leave off. Yeah, so I got back together with my girlfriend, and I ended up moving to California to work, SoCal.
Okay, is this still backstory?
Like, yeah, so she cheated on me again.
All right.
Even though she cheated on me, I think she was like a monkey. What else have I been doing in the last couple of weeks and months? Oh, I started improv. That's freaking amazing. Improv is huge. Like improv, the way I see it, improv is almost just like going out, right? Is going out. You're practicing. It's like sergeant, but I think it's less of a pressure environment. You get to have fun. There's like students with your same type of goals and stuff. So I've been taking improv in San Diego with all level 3 within.
Okay, this part I'm talking about in my improv comedy days. Still agree. Improv is one of the highest ROI activities you can do. It's cheap. I paid $200 for improv comedy. Did 3 classes, 3 levels, so total $600. I mean, it is 1/6 the price of a boot camp, and you're getting months and months worth of practice. Okay, so improv, in my opinion, if you're starting pickup, you should take improv comedy in tandem, because the amount of associations you learn how to make, the amount of references, your observation skills, your ability to multi-thread, your ability to branch into different conversations will grow exponentially if you do improv. What do you think about Mark's wife crest in Japan? That's a friend of mine. 2 weeks seems forced. Well, if you're trying to do anything in life, it's going to be forced, right? So he likes Japanese girls, and so he's going to go to Japan. But I do think that I personally think Chinese girls are better for wife material than Japanese girls. But, I mean, he's going to do what he wants to do. All right. Let's do part 3.
What else is on my mind here? Okay, so where am I at right now? About 2010 August time frame, I found Casanova. I was just at work. I was just like Googling. I'm like, what is this Casanova crew? Like, Casanova crew, I was just another layer. And I just started reading up the forums. And JTR is apparently the founder of Casanova. And the first thing I did when I kind of sign up to the forum.
Okay, listen. The only reason I became where I'm at today was because of one person. Okay, one dating coach changed my life. Okay, now we're competitors. I don't think he even teaches anymore, but I just want to reiterate: you don't need to meet every pickup guy on the planet to reach your dating goals. You just need one solid person. It's not about the more the better. It's quality over quantity. Okay. Sometimes it's best to have maybe 1 or 2 dating coaches, because everybody's got different opinions, right? Not all dating coaches think the same. So if you follow 20 dating coaches, it might actually confuse you, because you know, some guys are like, don't go direct, don't go indirect. You should only do day game. You should only do night game. That's just fucking confusing. You should just follow one guy. All right. Learn everything from that one person until you're equal to his level or surpass him. Then maybe find another coach that has complementary skills or has skills that you feel like you're lacking. Okay. You don't need that many coaches. Like, looking back in time, the reason why I am now is because first I went on the internet forum, like every fucking guy, right? You go on YouTube, you go on an internet forum, right? You follow the threads. And then finally there's a meetup, right? For me, that meetup was in California, in LA. Okay. You go to a meetup group and you meet some people. Some are dating coaches. Some are trying to make money. Some are students wanting to learn the game. But immediately, okay, just even that barrier to entry, right? Again, most people stop at the internet. Most people just read pickup shit, and then that's where they stop, okay? That's the lowest fucking amount of energy invested, okay? Just driving your car an hour to a fucking meetup, you're already like the top 20 percentile of men, okay? The fact that you drove to meet higher quality men already puts you ahead, okay? Like being average is so low that the bar for average is so low, okay? So again, I went to a few dating seminars, all right? It's kind of like back then, all the dating coaches were pitching their own program. I met one guy. It turned out he lived in the same town as me, lived 5 minutes away, and I became his assistant. And the rest was history. If you find one dating coach and you can find a way to get into his fucking house, you find a way to tag along on his program, you become his video editor, okay? You become his copyright. I don't know. Like dating coaches need help too, right? And maybe it's making Instagram reels, maybe it's making content, maybe it's helping filming. That is the best thing you can do to accelerate your dating. Okay. It's the same. Like when guys live in my house, when guys take my immersion program in Vegas, right? Immediately they get introduced to like 50 other guys, right? And they're already meeting the top 5% of guys on my program. So became this guy's assistant, started making YouTube channels. Yeah, man, we got some old school people back here. Lance Mason. I mean, I know the name, Pickup 101. Yeah. David D'Angelo made a ton of money. This guy was a great marketer. Yeah, all the OGs. I know all of them. He met like a weird chick from Burning Man, right? I don't think his wife. Yeah, I don't know what's the deal with dating coaches marrying ugly women, but hopefully I don't. Hopefully I break that trend. Anyways, so I found a mentor and I tagged along on every single boot camp he ever did. So every month he'd run a boot camp. I would shadow him. I would follow him to San Diego. I would follow him to LA. And on top of that, I was the only guy recording my conversations, making YouTube videos. And yeah, and that's how I became, the channel ultimately grew. And probably I had the biggest channel for dating as an Asian guy.
And an account was they were doing a boot camp with 3 really good PUAs. One was Grandma, Asian guy. Another was Blue, who's a white guy, is pretty good. And then Kino, he's in San Diego. He's kind of like sets for the whole day, but my interactions were really
okay. Yeah. So here I'm talking about the boot camp that I took. Which is 3 guys. One guy was called Grandma, one guy was called Blue, one guy is called Kino 5000 or something like that, right? And here's the problem with the dating industry, right? So you got guys that are good with women, but they have potato marketing skills, right? And then you got guys that are good with marketing, but like don't really actually talk to women. And most of the guys back in that era, they were pretty amateurish. They didn't really take teaching pickup as a full time. Like they just didn't know how to market themselves. And yeah, they had no idea how to make content. One of my coaches at the time, I did a boot camp with 3 dating coaches in 2010. One guy was a sushi chef. One guy, I didn't know what the hell he was doing, right? It was just like a hodgepodge of misfits. So I actually got a good deal. I did a day game boot camp for $600. That is unheard of. $600 with 3 dating coaches. And I definitely got a lot of value. And I did the worst. Okay. I was a 6 foot tall guy. I did the worst out of 3 students. We had guys that were 5'7", 5'8", that were doing better than me. Yeah. And I had severe approach anxiety back in the day.
Really weak, and they didn't last more than maybe 3 minutes. But even just 15 to 20 sets, that was still more than what I'd done in the last 2 years. So even though it's pretty small, if you compare relatively, it was quite a big jump. And then so I did the Casanova crew for a bit, and at that point I still was talking to my girlfriend. This was like September time frame, and and then dead period. I didn't do shit for maybe 2 to 3 months from September to December. So I really started hanging out with JTR was promoting at High Life or something like that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually looking for an internship." So that was cool, right? And then so I gave him my contact. I guess it was kind of busy for a while. He didn't get back to me for a bit, but he contacted me every week. So we go through like homework and stuff. And then I met up with who did I meet up later? I met up with Austin and Ace, who. So yeah, I've been going out. This is March right now. You don't even walk. You run. You chase him down. You open direct, right? Oh man, he pushed me into some crazy sets, man. Made me go up these two black chicks that are like taller than me. I was like, excuse me, I know this thing approaches. And you know he takes.
So your first year, your first couple months, it's the fun period, man. Your first couple months doing pickup, you're just gonna remember everything. Everything was just so vivid. You know, it's kind of like you're taking shrooms. Everything's vibrant, everything's colorful. You know. Now when I approach a girl, I just forget it immediately. I don't remember anything. But man, like when you're a beginner, everything is just intensified. All your senses are heightened, right? If you get a good interaction, you're on fucking cloud 9, right? And if you get rejected, it's the worst feeling ever. And that's what it is. It's kind of like the way I describe it is when you're a beginner, the ups and downs are significant, right? It's like a sinusoidal wave, right? And so your highs are super high and your lows are super low. And then it's like this, right? Some nights you're on top of the world. Other nights you feel like a piece of shit. So it's a fucking roller coaster. But as you get better and better, your waves it pretty much flatlines, right? Like if I get laid, this is what I feel like now. And if I get the worst blowouts in the world, this is what I feel. I mean, the fluctuations are much smaller, right? Now if I go out, if nothing happens, it's not even about the girl. It's just kind of like, oh wow, I wasted my time. I could have just made some content and did something more productive. But back in the day, you remember every set. I remember like when I went out, I can recall every set. I could go back home, even without taking notes. I could be like, approach number 1, I did this. Set number 2, this is what happened. Set number 3, right? And this happens with students too. A lot of times when guys take a boot camp, they get insomnia and then they can't sleep. Like every single interaction, like in their heads, and they're just thinking about it. And sometimes, Fridays on boot camp with me in Vegas, it gets really intense and then they can't sleep. And then Saturday, they get really tired. They get kind of wrecked. Let me see some of the comments. I found pickup in 2001. Jesus Christ. How old are you, man? Where did you learn improv comedy? I learned it in San Diego in a place called National Comedy Theater. Very good. To be honest, it doesn't matter where you take it. Just go to, you know what I mean? It's kind of like if you've never done Muay Thai, you've never done kickboxing, if you've never lifted weights, you don't need to go to the best place. Like any place that you go is going to kick your ass. So I would just say any improv comedy is going to be good. You don't need bleeding edge comedy, right? Most of the stuff is going to be basic fundamentals. I remember blah blah blah. We're posting on the Fast Seduction forum. Yeah, those. Nowadays, how do you usually meet women? Yeah, a little bit of all three. Sometimes when I'm running programs, I'll get some Instagram here and there. I still have dating apps, sometimes Instagram, sometimes I'll meet through friends of friends. Been doing pickup since 1997. Damn. Cool. All right, let's keep playing this. We'll just blast through all the videos.
Yeah, so if I'm already decent, I wish like this video was like hella pimply face, like fat, like totally bad posture, like chody, and then like another couple of videos down the road, like no, freaking. Who's gotta get to? I'm like freaking ZYZZ from Z's from bodybuilding.com or something, or if I'm freaking Arnold, doing that.
Yeah, this is back when I was still on bodybuilding.com. This is back when I was watching Ziz. And yeah, it's just interesting like how your identity shifts over time. Even the lingo, even the verbiage that I used back in the day was very different. I think bodybuilding.com forums have been pretty much died off. So, but those were the good old days. I met a lot of really cool people on bodybuilding.com back in the day. We had quite a few meetups in LA.
Just like approach Sargathon like freaking Johnny Depp or something. That would have been cool, right? But now it's just like, he's already kind of decent, and so yeah, 2 months of no progress. Well, yeah, I can't say no progress, but no progress that's like significant. I would say not like a jump. Like I would say maybe a kind of cool place called Silk, and it was inside of a casino, and my roommate bailed out on that.
Well, listen, guys, I don't want to bore you on every detail of every club, but I will say this. My girlfriend cheating on me was the best thing that's ever fucking happened to me. Okay. And I will say for most men, pain is the catalyst. You need a fucking chip on your shoulder. Guys that are just too comfortable, they're not gonna fucking do anything. Like the pain of failure and the pain of getting fucked has to be bigger than the pain of approach anxiety and the pain of failure and the pain of fear and the pain of rejection. You need to just get fucking pissed, right? You need to have a chip on your shoulder. When I lived in this room, I had a coworker who was a natural. This guy was Hispanic. His name was Jeremy. And he would bring a girl back every fucking weekend. And I would be playing StarCraft or whatever, Team Fortress in my room, and I would hear fucking sounds in the other room. Think about how traumatic that was, right? You get cheated on by your ex, and then you see a fucking Mexican guy banging a girl every Friday night, and you're just like, fuck, dude. I'm almost 28. What am I doing with my life? You need that, right? And this happens to all my students, right? When you get a rich crypto guy who has all the money and he's banging whoever the fuck they want, they just don't put in the work. When you get a good looking guy, when you get a 6'4" aesthetic dude on boot camp, they just don't try. They don't put in the effort. When the girls don't talk that much, they're just like, all right, goodbye. There's not that like burning desire to fucking approach and plow every set. Okay. And because of the pain here, I talk to everybody. I don't know if you guys have seen my old videos, but it didn't matter if the girl's 200 pounds. All right. I still like, you know what I mean? I lived in a small town with a lot of like overweight Latinas. It didn't matter. Like it was either don't plow and protect your ego, or at least I get my verbals in. And one day maybe I'll move to Vegas, which is what I did. You got to get pissed, man. You got to be like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like somebody else that wasn't smarter than me fucking did it. Why can't I do it? You know what I mean? You got to get pissed. Otherwise, it's just there's just too much work in pickup. You have to deal with so much rejections and so much bullshit that like most guys aren't gonna do it. See here, the pain. Yeah, exactly. The pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. All right. Do you ever meet women off of Craigslist? Fuck, dude. Maybe. I think I met one girl off of some forum back in college in Seattle, but I fucked it up. She even got to my room. But man, if I knew what I knew now, and I could take my millions of dollars to college. Oh my god, college would have been so fucking fun, man. Holy shit. But I wouldn't change anything with my life. I think I'm happy with exactly how my life turned out. And I don't feel like getting into pickup at 27 and a half was too late. Look at me. I mean, I'm almost 30 in this video, but I still look like a kid, you know? So, and this is to all the Asian guys out there or whoever. If you're in your late 20s or early 30s, it's definitely it's not a big deal, especially for Asian guys. We're looking 5 to 10 years younger, and yeah, like 21, 22, 23, it's just not your time. Even if you have the energy and you're doing okay on life, like you're gonna look like a little kid. So let's see here.
40% capacity. It was a Friday night, and
I just want to touch upon this. So basically, this is how fast I progressed, right? So it took me 450 approaches to get my first lay. Okay. So I went out starting January 2011. Okay. Every single week I went out, my interactions were getting longer and longer. Okay. Within the first month, first 2 months, my AA was pretty much handled. Okay. 2 months in, I was getting dates. 4 months in, I was pulling, but I couldn't close. Okay. And then finally 4 months in, I finally closed, and then I got back-to-back lays. So April, I got 5 lays in a row that month. Okay. And a lot of things can happen, right? So in pickup, a lot of things happen in quantum jumps, right? So you get these mental blocks, or you have sticking points in like progressing or escalating. But once you learn how to do it once, the second time is much easier, right? That's why like boot camps are so helpful. It's like if you take a boot camp with me and I can watch the girl, I know what's going to go down, right? So if you're in set with a girl, I know this girl is pullable, this girl is not pullable, and I will tell you to do it, right? A lot of times it's not the execution that's really that hard, right? It's believing that you can do it and actually attempting to do it, right? It's not like telling a girl, let's get out of here is, it's not like you're doing a 360 backflip. It doesn't take that much skill. It's just recognizing when is the time to do it and execute, right? So on boot camp, if there is a girl that's pullable and I see you leaving, I'm going to tell you to go back in and continue and get the pull. So, yeah, as far as the learning curve, a lot of times you flatline, right? You plateau, nothing happens for a while, and then you get lucky, right? You're in state. Basically, it's a combination of you're in state, you feel good, you're right, you feel confident, you get lucky, the right girl comes along, and the logistics are fucking aligned, right? So it's just like everything is fucking aligned, and then you take that leap of faith, and then you execute. Usually, when you're starting out, the girls that you pull or the things that happen, they're usually easy sets, right? You're not going to be plowing 3 hours on your first pull. So just message me, man. Look, dude, stemtostud.com and just shoot me a message. Just chat with me, bro. Let's see here. Even if you're in your 60s, there's always the Philippines. I don't like Filipino women. They're not all of them, but how do I say this, man? When you can't approach, you think approaching is like the biggest thing, right? For a lot of guys, you could tell a lot about where a person is based on like the types of questions they're asking. So if a guy is talking about approaching, yeah, he's a very beginner, right? If a guy's talking about how to stay in set, then that means he's approaching. So like when you can have a conversation, approaching is super easy, right? When you can pull, conversations are super easy, right? When you're consistently getting laid, pulling is easy, right? So getting laid is actually not the hardest part of this whole journey, right? When I mean, even if you go out for like 6 months in a row, pulling and getting laid, going on dates, all that is not that hard. I mean, like if that's your only goal, there's so many girls that'll date anybody, right? There's fucking homeless guys with girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you'll quickly get to a point where like you shouldn't measure yourself based on lays or closes. I mean, you get to a point where you get laid every day. It's not that hard, right? Like if you did 5 approaches a day, you do online dating, you DM girls, you have a system in place, like you could get laid every day, but it quickly becomes really old. So eventually you're gonna start focusing on quality, retention, and yeah, I don't like the Philippines. I hate the Philippines. Like it is so bad. Again, I'm not saying every Filipino girl. I'm sure there's some smart ones, but I've ran programs in the Philippines. I've been to Makati. I've been to BGC. When I see a girl fucking a low quality dude, that like turns me off. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, like if you walk around and you see these girls and they're dating these fucking losers, subconsciously, if I'm like, wow, if I date this girl, then like I'm a loser. You know what I mean? Like I want to date girls that are like hard. I want to date girls most guys can't get. I want to date a girl that like she's rejecting most guys. You know what I mean? And so I really don't like the Philippines, man. And I've just seen I've seen my friends hook up with so many girls in the Philippines, and it's just like I do not want to be Eskimo bros with 50 of my dating coach friends, you know, and it's the same cesspool. Yeah. Anyways, going off a tangent. How many approaches have you done in your lifetime? Over 20,000. Yeah. So kind of going back to my progression, I was pulling 4 months in. I was closing consistently 4 months in. 6 months in, I was doing much more difficult pulls, and then I would say a year in, I was pretty good. A year in is pretty solid, and 2 years in, I was charging money. So, yeah, it doesn't take that long to get good at dating if you know what you're doing. To be honest, I think getting good with women was easier than my engineering degree. Right, my engineering degree took 5 years. Getting good enough to charge money took 2 years. Now, obviously, I'm a much better coach now, right? So, yes, I was coaching as early as 2012. So, was it 2026 now? So, it's been 14 years since I started coaching, right? And I think what's changed is obviously I've been to more countries, so I have a much better geographical awareness. So I have much more dating perspectives from an international and global scale. I think obviously when I started out, I had limited amount of clients. Now I have like 1,400 clients that I work with in person. So being able to relate and being able to break things down that's easily digestible for different people. And that's the thing I really appreciate about like teaching pickup is like most men, the diversity in how people's brains are wired is very different, right? Some people just process information very differently. Some people, some people need positive reinforcement. Some people like negative reinforcement. Some people want to just feel good and they want to have positive references. Some people want me to push them as hard as possible, right? Some people need accountability. Some people are autistic and need more rules. They need more rules for their, because they can't process, they can't read, they can't read body language. So it's kind of like, okay, in this situation, do this. And this, you just got to build like this fucking SOP of like if then else kind of flow chart, right? Some people what holds them back is hormones, right? Yeah, for some men, they're just low testosterone. Like they don't go out because their hormones are imbalanced. For some guys, it could be like mental health. There's so many things. And I think being a dating coach requires you to like, you got to tinker, right? Because you get them and you don't know how their brain works. And you just got to like uncover the layers and figure out what's holding them back. What about Vietnam? What about Vietnam? It was a very broad question. What about them? What about it? I think a lot of guys in Thailand are going to Vietnam because it's cheaper, but this is what I say. I say this a lot. When you're thinking about moving questions, it should be like long-term moving questions. So if you're like, what about Vietnam? You should always factor in, okay, what am I trying to grow as a person by going there? How will this impact my career? Who are the types of people I'm trying to meet? Right? You got to understand, like, visiting a country for fun. If you're just trying to go to a country for fun for like a month just to go on a few dates, that's just entertainment. That's just vacation. Like, it doesn't matter. That's not going to change your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I moved to Vegas because I wanted to run a dating program. I wanted to run boot camps, right? And also, Vegas had the best logistics, the best volume. I could become better as a coach, right? So moving to Vegas wasn't a short-term fun sort of thing for me. It was a long-term investment. It was a long-term strategy, right? So what you do for fun is very inconsequential to your life or your dating goals, right? Like, if you don't have a business in Vietnam, if you don't have networks in Vietnam, you're just going there for fun. It doesn't matter what you do. You could go on 10 Tinder dates. You know, at the end of the day, it's fun. It doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. So I would say you should only think about moving to places where there's high quality women, there's a big population. Don't focus so much on the cost of living. Focus on your career opportunities, right? It's far better to focus on making more money than trying to go somewhere cheap, okay? Because you got to understand your learning phase and your enjoying life phase. Those are two different phases in life, okay? If you're on the come up, if you're trying to learn, it's actually worse to go to like a cheap place, because you're just not going to be inspired, you know? You want to be, this is what you want to do. You want to go to countries, you want to go to like meetup groups, you want to go to like events where you are the poorest person, you are the least skilled guy, and you are the, you want to go to places where everybody's better than you, okay? Not the other way around, especially in your come up years. Like, you know, I was in Bali and I randomly got invited to this crypto event. That was the brokest guy, you know? You know, sometimes when you're living a life, you're comparing yourself to people around you, right? And then you go to like a private crypto party. Everybody's got like 9 figs and they're like VCs and they're getting all these early seed funding shit. And they're, you know, you're just like, I'm a dating coach, you know? They're talking about like tens of millions of dollars per transaction. I'm like, I make a couple $1,000s per boot camp. You know, it's just like you're thinking on different levels. So I do not encourage you to go to cheap places when you're leveling up. Okay. Now, when you've made millions of dollars and you want to diversify your money and you want to like spread out your real estate and you want to get some properties around the world, that, you know, like when you're like me, you can do that. When you're in your 40s and you're like semi-retired, you can, yeah, I don't waste my time talking about other dating coaches that fuck lady boys. Anyways, going to other countries won't fix your, exactly. You got to understand, most people think that going to easy countries is going to fix your dating problems. Not. It's going to exacerbate your problems. You know, like for me, when I'm in Thailand, I have a lot of self-control. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I go to the gym every day. I eat healthy. I get my omega-3s. I get my avocados. I don't go to red light districts. Any girls that are sketchy, I don't even talk to them. I screen a lot. I don't invite girls back. I don't invite girls straight to my place. I make sure I video call every girl before committing on dates. So I never get myself into shitty situations. But then you see all these foreigners, they come to Thailand, they go into Southeast Asia. It's like, oh, like I got drunk and I fucked a lady boy. Or like, what happened? Look, this is what happens. They drink, they do drugs, they go to red light districts, they get STDs, they bang a lot of low quality girls, they go broke, and then they go back home. You got to understand, like, Asian girls prefer Asian guys. That's always, you know, that's always the case. It's like most Asian girls prefer Asian dudes, man. That's why, like, being in Asia, like, in my opinion, like an ABC is the strongest type. I think it's the best. Yeah, dude. Like, if you're just a white guy and you're pretty mid, like, why would they like you? Like, we generally prefer our own race. Anyways. Yeah, dude. I've had a lot of clients where they fucked over like 300 prostitutes. And their brain's fried, man. I had a guy who's like schizophrenic, and like he would go to like Thailand. He would just fuck like their brain is so just fried. Like nothing turns them on anymore. And that's worse than pornography induced ED. Anyways. Yeah. So what do you think of Alex Hormozi versus Tony Robbins sit down? That was a great episode. And I've already knew. So I follow Alex Hormozi. By the way, if you guys want to level up and make money, you guys absolutely should follow Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins. Alex is more just for making money, and Tony Robbins is just very good for like becoming the best person that you can. I've spent almost $10,000 with Alex, and I've spent $20,000 with Tony Robbins in my life. I've done Tony Robbins Business Mastery. I've done Date with Destiny. I've done Unleash the Power Within. I bought Alex Hormozi's recent $6,000 $100 million offer program. So I've spent a lot of money with these guys. And yeah, over the course of the last 10 years, I probably spent $100,000 on coaching and personal development. So, I mean, it's a good amount of money. And let's see here. Yeah. So kind of going back to Alex, I've always known that he is where he's at because there was a lot of trauma. And like, you look at these dudes, like people that make a lot of money, people that get into dating coaching, there's fucking trauma, man. Like you don't just become a dating coach or like work 14 hours a day if you weren't traumatized by something in your childhood, you know? Yeah, I know like Alex is, I think he's like Persian. Like if you had Middle Eastern parents, they're very similar to Asian parents. They're just going to push you very hard. You know, your parents are never going to be satisfied, etc. But I think what Tony Robbins said to Alex, yeah, it was very good. You got to learn how to enjoy life. I don't work as hard as Alex, and I have a pretty balanced life. I don't really experience burnouts, and partially because I made some really good business decisions. Like I bought a house 4 years ago that doubled in value. And so, yeah, so now I can do whatever I want. And, you know, when I was dealing with, sort of the, you know, back in 2019, when I was dealing with the SJWs, the woke mob, whatever, I was kind of stressed, right? 2019 financially, I wasn't where I was at. or I wasn't where I want to be. But now it's kind of like, you know, ultimately it's all about freedom, right? So you're a newscaster, you want to go after me? Fuck you, you know, like, what are you going to do? You're going to come after me? I can live in like 5 different countries. I have condos in like multiple places. What are you going to do? Cancel me? Okay, I'll just go to Asia. What are you going to do now? You're going to fucking talk to Xi Jinping, right? That's what it is, man. You know, I kind of appreciate that I didn't just learn pickup. I worked on my health. I followed geopolitics. I follow investing. You know, I follow Nomad Capitalist. So yeah, ultimately that's what it is. It's not about just dating. It's not about money. It's about freedom. I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? Like if I want to go to Vegas, I got a house waiting for me there. If I want to go to Asia, I got a condo in Thailand, right? A lot of my friends are going to Paraguay, getting you know, I think the visa process or getting residency in Paraguay is pretty good. Portugal, I think you only need like, I don't know. I think it's gone up, but like you only need like $500,000. So what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna try to cancel me? Anyways, do you have visas in multiple? Yeah, so I have a Chinese 10-year visa. I have a Thailand 5-year visa. I do want to get one in Latin America. I don't know where. Yeah, maybe Peru. I don't know. Paraguay, Brazil. There's just too much. They're too anti foreigners dating. Colombia, the girls, the IQ there is too low, and foreigners keep getting drugged there. So I don't know. I'm still figuring out. But ultimately, my vision is to have 4 places. So Las Vegas, somewhere in Latin America, either Portugal or somewhere in like what was it? Croatia. Croatia is pretty cool. And then Southeast Asia. And that's, you know, I wish I could have a dual US and Chinese passport, but you can't. If you become a US citizen, you lose your Chinese passport. So, but that would be fucking OP, dude. If you had like a Chinese passport and a US passport, I mean, that would be the dream. But you know, with how things are going between China and the US, I don't think that's ever gonna. What is the best, bro? It depends on how much money you got, man, and and what you're trying to do. So, yeah, that's really comes down to it, right? Some, you know, Singapore, probably one of the strongest passports out there, but I think you're too late unless you have like, fuck, dude. I think even with like $10 million, I don't think it's easy to get a Singaporean passport. You might need like 50 million. I don't fucking know, but Latin America, I think there's still some places you can get a passport or like long-term visa residency for like 250K. I think Caribbean, there's some places you can get it for like 200K ish. Like St. Kitts has gone up a little bit. There's a lot of crypto dudes in St. Kitts. Portugal is a little bit easier. Spain is much harder. Dubai is probably, you know, like Dubai is okay. I think a lot of crypto guys are in Dubai. I don't really like Dubai. It's not that good for normal dating. I feel like a lot of these always turn into travel. Look, travel is good, but look, without going too much of a tangent on travel is good, right? But traveling won't fix your problems. I think traveling is good once you've already made it, or you're traveling to meet successful guys. That's really what it is. If you're traveling to meet a mentor, if you're traveling to meet like-minded guys, you're traveling for a boot camp, those are all great. I don't recommend spending all your time traveling to like dirt poor Latin American countries or Southeast Asia. That's all just vacation fun time. It's not gonna have any long-term impact to your growth or improving your dating. So All right, guys. That's it for this video. I think I've gone way too long. Do you guys have any other questions? I've been to Turkey 10 years ago. I don't really like Turkey that much. It was very stressful when I was there. The infrastructure is not that great. They were blasting a lot of religious music at 5 in the morning. I got no sleep. Cool architecture. I think it's good to go to Istanbul just for the culture, but I can't see myself living there long term. Do you? Nah, dude. Look, I'm just doing this for fun, man. I don't need the money. I just enjoy this. Wait, why would it diminish my brand equity? Nah, dude. Look, I'll say one thing, right? All the dating advice that you'll ever want is on the internet. Okay. There's nothing that I will tell you that's not already free on the internet. So you can find it on the internet. Yeah. You know, every dating advice is not, it's not some trademarked secret. You know what I mean? So, yeah, everything I put online is meant to be free content. It's meant to inspire people. It's meant to, you know, share my personal stories. Maybe you can relate to it, but 99% of people that watch dating content don't change, right? So only 1%. Like, I think looking at my subscriber count and the people that took my boot camps, you know, at one point I had around 100,000 followers and I had 1,000 boot camp students. So 1 out of 100 people, 1 out of 100 people that watch my channel that are subscribed will actually go through to do a boot camp. So 99% of guys will watch me and they'll never do anything. And that's fine. Look, if I can help you a little bit, that's cool. But really, real change takes a lot of commitment. You got to pay the price, right? You either pay the price with time and rejections, or you pay the price with money and you get there faster, right? And it really just depends on your situation, right? If you're a young guy in your 20s, you have a lot of time, but you don't have money. Okay, well, you know, you have a lot of energy, go out and do a lot of free approaches, right? But if you're a guy and you're established in your 30s, you know, if you're a guy in tech, you make $200,000 a year, like what's a couple of K for a boot camp? You know what I mean? Like, if you approach 0 women this whole year and then you do a boot camp and you approach 70 women, right? Like, if you can approach more on a boot camp than what you've done in your whole life, like, what is the time value of that, right? So yeah, like, I don't expect most people are not going to take a program. Most people are just going to watch. It's going to be entertainment, and only 1% is going to take action. So I don't really care, man. You guys can do what you want with the content. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to be making way more content just because I bought a whole bunch of new gear. Like, look at this. Look at my setup, dude. Isn't streaming fun? I got my projector. I got 4 monitors. Yeah, so I'm gonna be streaming a lot more. This is really fun for me. And for me, a huge part of the bottleneck has always been the editing part. I had a lot of editors come and go, but yeah, live streams are great because I don't have to edit as much. See here. Just watching your videos since 2017, along with reading books, helped me go from a virgin in my 20s to a man with a family. You're doing a service here. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Hong Kong, Macau could work as bases in the areas while keeping U.S. citizenship. Yeah, it's okay. I've been to Hong Kong. I don't like it that much. I mean, it's okay if you have a reason, but like, I feel like Hong Kong wasn't where it's at compared to the 90s. I think there's just better places than Hong Kong. I think Singapore is better than Hong Kong. I was in Hong Kong in March of last year. It was dirty. It was old. It was expensive. I don't know, man. I enjoyed Shenzhen way more than Hong Kong. But again, obviously Shenzhen's part of China. But yeah, there's a lot of great places, man. The bottleneck is just how much money you have. So yeah, dude, make that money. Work your look. This is what you should do in your 20s and early 30s. You should work 60 hours a week, 5 hours of gym, 5 hours of improv comedy, and go out 10 hours. That is like the perfect 60 hours of work, 10 hours of cold approach, 5 hours of gym, and then 5 hours of extracurricular. I would just build that nest egg. All right, man. Cool, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday, Asia time, Monday, U.S. time. Thanks for tuning in.